It's like the... What's going on, everybody? Good to see everyone. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. Look at that. Everything's working. Amazing. Good turnout today. How's everybody's Saturday? You made it to the end of the week. Do one of these. Do one of those. If somebody won't do it for you. Shambad, good to see you. Morning. Ryan, I saw you pop in. And open the doors. Joe, morning. Laramie, good morning. Eileen. I'm going to get so many folks on this channel that the whole hour will be just me greeting everybody. Jake, good morning. Tad, morning. Orcus Dorcas. Right? Thinking. Scotchy McBourbon. Morning. Gabe, morning. Morgan. Tog. Jim, morning. Matt, morning. Mike, morning. Everybody's got a RP. Everybody should have an RPG go bag, right? Merry Christmas. Holy cow, Zeal. You, I don't want to break it to you, but Wayne, morning. Trumpet, good to see you. Morning. Thank you for the gifted sub. Congratulations. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. What's going on here? Ah, Farty got it. Morning, Farty. Congratulations. Thanks for the heads up, Brian. Appreciate it. Yeah, this one's a classic. It's probably one of my beater up shirts. That didn't sound right. It's my beaten up shirts. Man. Oh, God. Mr. White, morning. Morning, Phil. Krog. Morning. Aaron, morning. Morning, Aaron. The mighty home of the 2600. My buddy Joe had the 4800 membrane keyboard. Oh, God, talk about stupid and annoying. Tim, morning. Excellent. Decent crowd. A lot of us are psyched. Because in a few days, it's going to be Gamehole Con. Whew. Don't go out anywhere for the next 2 days. For risk of getting contaminated. Cheers. All right. Let's do a quick game check. What are you playing or running? Harrigan, try to limit it to 2. Brett's here. Everybody, Brett's here. Good to see you, buddy. Brett's the overseer of Avalon. Streets of. Game check. There we go. Harrigan says playing Call of Cthulhu and soon Deathmatch Island. Deathmatch Island, huh? Doing some Avalon gaming, of course. Not done with that, Brett? Not done with that? Scotchy McBourbon playing Pendragon. Just started running Mutineer Zero. Oh, interesting. I have not played Mutineer Zero. A lot of free league fandom in this body, but I've not played Mutineer Zero. Garag, Running the Invincible one shot on Monday. Maybe Pirate Berg tonight. Jake running Shadowdark. The Dark of the Shadow. Farty playing Vaesen and Call of Cthulhu running 5e. Matt about to start running Deadlands, currently playing Marvel Multiverse. Jim playing Call of Cthulhu, not running a regular game. Currently will run something probably Swords and Wizardry at GameholeCon. Brett says wrapped up Delta Green campaign. TPK was awesome. Did you end up running Impossible Landscapes, Brett? Aaron, Twilight 2000. Tim, got limited to a couple. I know you're playing like 20. Probably slaying the Spire card game today in the air, and then Urban Shadows. Very nice. Mike, Shadowrun 3rd edition game continues, and the need to finish an index card RPG game that was started as a one-shot and became a two-shot. I empathize. Mine usually are like a one-shot that become a four-shot. That's how I roll. Wayne, running a DCC adventure, Bride of the Black Manse tonight, running Shadowdark, Monster of the Week, and will be playing Deathmatch Island. Huh. Another Deathmatch Island player. Interesting. Orcus, Possible Landscape, Session 0 yesterday. Oh, I thought you were further along, man. GURPS today, continuing Pendragon Grey Knight tomorrow. Very nice. Trumpet, playing Shadowrun, reading Shadow City. It's a lot of shadow. Throw in some dark and you got a trifecta. Ryan West. Is there a better way to end a DG game, dead or in an asylum? Oh, I've got some thoughts on that. Playing 5e, Joe says, and recently, Kern, looking to start running some 5e and Shadowdark soon. Brett says, not yet. That'll be my next DG campaign. So he's not running Impossible Landscapes yet. He's got to get the scoop first. Got to give him the scoop. GameholeCon. Grimwood Games. Good to see you. Thanks for joining. Running. Plaguebound. Sunday. Just played nuts last night. Or is that NUTS? Ryan, running Mothership, playing DCC. Laramie running CNC. That'd be Castles and Crusades for all of you. And occasionally speed running Harley Stroh's DCC modules, one adventure per level. Shan bought a Shan. Have not run or played anything recently, holding off till Gamehole. There's only so much that brain can take. Here again, play-by-post running Covert Ops, Outcast Silver Raiders. You're playing Outcast Silver Raiders? Cairn, Black Wyram of Brendansford. Shambot says, well, I forgot about that. See, brain can only take so much. I take that back. Bite the bullet. Arrogance continuing. Play-by-post, playing 5e, Case and Soul, Swords and Wizardry, Gods of the Forbidden North. That's cool. I'm waiting for that Kickstarter to arrive. Liminal Horror, The Mall, and Beyond the Wall. Overachiever. Harrigan's an overachiever. Eileen says, I'm in 2 D&D campaigns and 1 Tales of the Valiant. Flirting with starting a Gods of the Fall campaign soon. Sype her. Mr. White says, running FODG or Fall of Delta Green. Borealis connection, but using Delta Green rules. John Caldwell, good to see you, John. Thanks for joining. In a Walking Dead game, hacking Ironsworn into Fallout World for fun. Because why not, right? Sweefer, good to see you. Morning. Brendan Barnes. Just D&D 5e and adjacent lately. Want to do something else? Might run Cypher or something for the fam. Nice. Sean, need the topic of the day on the screen for those of us who are always late. I haven't started, but I'll put it up there so you guys could talk or think. Playing COC, Mr. White says, Call of Cthulhu, MON, and TOC Eternal Eyes. Trail of Cthulhu Eternal Eyes. MON is He's testing me. It's not Monster of the Week. Maybe it's Monster of the N. I don't know. MON. I don't know what that is. Mutants on nuts. Phil, Gods of the Forbidden North. Wow, that is getting some traction. Oh, he's talking to Harrigan. Sorry, Phil. Didn't mean to interrupt your chat. Tad says, running Ultraviolet Grasslands and heading into the finale of our 5-year campaign. We're playing session 96 on Sunday. Dude, you got to get to 100, Tad. Stretch it out, buddy. Stefan Dragonspawn. Biatch. How are ya? Good to see ya. Good morning to you, beautiful person. One of my friends wants to run a short campaign using Nimble 2.0. Interesting. Not familiar. Zweifer, I'm running Pathfinder 2E or 4. 1 to 2 more sessions, then a 4-year campaign will end. After that, who knows? I'm waiting for Gabe to chime in, because then you know what Analytic Dice is tackling. He. Yes, it all wraps up session 100. Yeah, baby. We all know how that's going to end, and so should your players. With a bang. I've never lost players to the point of ending a campaign. I've had 2 campaigns die by popular vote. This sucks. Let's do something else. Dragonlance and Borrow Maze. Interesting. Brandon wants to play UVG. Cypher Unlimited, good to see you. Good to see you, gang. Hey, Sean. We did a show last week about building a community. I was wondering, how did you build your community? Oof. Well, start with a lot of friends. Lose a few. Maybe gain a few. That's not as straightforward as you might think. It may not be as straightforward. I will say this, Cypher, to go, not to make this, because this might be a little involved answer, but I will say this, and I've said this story before. I went to I went to Gen Con 1 year by myself, and I got a room because Clyde Rohr of Theory of From the Closet, both on Tim Jensen and I know him, and he was unable to go to Gen Con and said, hey, anybody want to go to Gen Con? I got a ticket in a room. More like a room, because I had to get a badge. And I said, sure, I'll go. And I signed up, and I ended up staying, like, he was in the podcast kind of clique, a bunch of podcasts. And I ended up staying with a bunch of those individuals, like 5 of us in a room, and maybe even 6. I went to Gen Con by myself. And then from there, it was like, oh, hey, Sean. And then I met, some of the folks from the podcast, some from, I think from Fear the Boot at the time, Accidental Survivors, and a few others that were kind of making things happen back in those days. Got invited to podcast meetups, like, hey, you should come along. And I'm like, cool. That experience was like, I want this to happen all the time. I want to feel like this coolness all the time, right? And I started a website called The Grumbling Dwarf, and The Grumbling Dwarf was really for Wisconsin. And I literally went and mapped out 10 local game stores in the state. And one Saturday, I drove to probably 9 of those through the state over a couple weeks' time, and handed off flyers, because what I wanted to do is get people that would bop around from game store to game store to kind of go to the website. And if the game store wanted to promote their stuff on the website, that would be great, because it was all just kind of the Wisconsin gaming community. That's how I met Tim, actually, I think. And we, it wasn't 10,000 visitors a month or things like that, but that's how that started. And then so that was great for a while. And we would have meetups, face-to-face meetups, mostly in Madison, at a local game store. People would show up, and then I got to meet some people, and then they like, I'd run into one person like Jason Rather. He'll be at Gamehole Con. Some of you might have met him years ago when he came down from Minnesota. Used to live in Madison. He would be like, "Hey, I want to do a game day. Would you be cool with, like, want to be involved?" And he was a big Eberron fan, and I was an Eberron fan, so I'd do that, and then I would meet some more people through that. And it would just keep doing that. And I was a guy who would post a game in the local game store and play in that local game store. And I knew some of the guys that played D&D minis that wanted to play RPGs. So I would get like 2 of those, and then they would bring each a friend, and then a rando would show up. And then we had our Star Wars Living Force campaign, right? And then that would go for a while. So as I've played with many, many, many different groups, but eventually I would start Gaming and BS, the podcast, and Brett and I would get listeners, and a community was a big thing. So we had a source, or, a segment on the show where people could write in an email. We would talk about them. We would talk about listeners and interactions through social media and things of that nature, in addition to our main topics. Got a Discord. Many of the folks in the chat are there. They're in the Discord. Some have moved on. Going to cons, I would see them, say hello to them all the time, like Gary Con and Gamehole Con primarily. And then Google G Plus was a big one too. I mean, I think I had like 10,000 followers on Google Plus at one point in time. I was I held my own on Google Plus for a long time. Got some people from there and things of that nature. So that's how it's happened, kind of. So that's the story, Cypher. There you go. Let's back to Mr. White, run mass. Oh, mass lateral. TPK at 9-9. Gabe, actually, we don't have our next game selected yet. Oh, no. We still have to record about, Star Trek Adventures 2. Sweet. Look forward to that one. Gabe's running against the Dark Master and Dune. Playing COC. Interesting. Community, build it. A long answer. Yeah, there you go. Loved Gaming in BS. It was an inspiration for us to start our show. It's fantastic. Hope to see you guys at Gamehole Con. You guys coming? I know you guys were there a few years ago, so hope so. Good to see you. And I'm glad you guys are doing your thing, and I know you guys got a pretty decent community over there, and even Monty appreciates it, I'm sure. Whatever, dude. G Plus was awesome, Brett says. Yeah, you bet, man. You bet. I think that's it, right? So the topic at hand, and it's one of these things that's like trouble player, and that can be defined any way you want. But, what about the absent player? And then you kind of get into scheduling. So it's like this Venn diagram of like problem player, scheduling, boom, in the middle is the player that sometimes can't make it. And so I thought it might be a part of a discussion. I don't know how many make it if it's a campaign killer, if you will. Some of the reasons, there's the player that is the one that doesn't make it as often, or something happens. Maybe they're the steady, and then life throws them a curveball and they can't make that happen. And then say they're even the host. Like my buddy Jeff hosts our Delta Green game. So what happens if Jeff is like, oh dude, I can't make this and I can't make that, and everybody else, my buddy Joe, he's living in a place that might not be conducive to hosting a game. My place is pretty small. I'd have to kind of pack people in. It's kind of an understatement, but I got small, weird rooms. So then what happens? Especially like that like linchpin, right? They can't show up. How much is too much? Sometimes we play and a person can't make it. And I think many of us are very much empathetic to the point where it's like, look, this major event probably happened in the person's life. They're going to be out for a while. That's different than some of the other things. But at the same time, regardless of the reason, there's still going to be a gap, or they're not going to be there. Now, if you're playing, some people will say, Sean, I play with like a group of 10 people, or I play West Marches. Zero effect on my game. Zero, man. The game must go on. And that's fine. But most of the times we're playing with, 3 to 6 people. It could be virtually, could be in person. And there's that maybe one person that can't make it as often. And maybe that's just the way. So as game masters, do you handle them in a particular way? Like when they're not there, what happens? How do you handle their character? When do you say, hey, this is becoming a problem? We're going to write you off for 2 months. Go take care of what you need to. And then there'll be a chair at the table and then come back. Do you do that at all? Is there warning signs? Like, can you get ahead of it? Now, it also affects, so a lot of depends in the chat, I'm sure, is going to come out, but I'm sure it also depends on whether your play style or your preference of format will play a bigger role in this than other formats. Like, for example, like I mentioned, West March is not a factor. Long one shot, the person isn't there, maybe not a big deal. It might be if you're playing like 3 people minimum and they're gone and then you got 2, maybe. But it's probably the mini arc, right? Also depends on whether you're going to play every month, once a month for a 12-hour game, or every week. They miss 1 week. I mean, most of my games are every other, so who cares if they miss 1 week, right? They'll catch up the following week. Is it a problem? Have you run into this? How have you handled it? Did it resolve itself? Did you part ways? And of course, some of this will be like, this is how we handled it. It's, not one size fits all, but I think it also can help with people that are probably experiencing this and then going, huh. Also, we also look at things, much of the chat is game masters, so they kind of see it from a particular angle, if you will. But how does that affect players? If you're a player at the table, maybe the game master's like super cool with it, like, hey, totally understand. But then you got players at the table that are like, dude, this is a problem. Can you address this? This isn't what I signed up for. I mentioned this on Thursday night. I met with some of the guys. We didn't play, so we just kind of sat online and chatted, Phil and Wayne and Harrigan and I a little bit. And one of the things I mentioned was watching Ginny D's video, whether you are a fan of Ginny D or not. I don't tune into everything that she puts out, but every once in a while there's a nugget I happen to like, oh, that's an interesting one. And she recently did one on pay to play, right? Like paid GMs, paid games. Now, I'm not going to talk about, get into the weeds about whether you are in favor of that or not, because it can be a very polarizing topic. But it's a good video. It's like probably 45 minutes long. She interviews one of the people that's part of Start Playing, which is the big website where you can put your games out there and become a professional game master. Or if you're looking for a game, you can go there, right? And there's a need that's being filled. Okay, let's just say that. But my point is that to kind of tie it into the main topic, if you sign up for a game there, the likelihood of players like being there are probably pretty high. I bet you if you took the industry average of like consistency and people showing up, you go to the paid games and they're probably a 10 to 15% higher than the industry norm. Just speculating. Statistics, half of them are made up on the spot. Well, maybe 80%. So going into that, part of me wants to try that out. And I'm like, Sean, why do you got to pay for a game? Like, I don't need to, but I am interested to see how the game master tackles it in a paid game, right? What are the expectations in that? How does the game master manage that? what do the other players expect, and how do they act at the table, and all that stuff. Like, I want to do a video on that. Hey, I paid to play in a D&D game or X game. Let me tell you about it. Here's my experience. Anyways, I think that can also be a factor, right? Victor, good morning. Good to see you, buddy. Tim says, or this is another one too. We don't even have to say like missing. Maybe they're just always late. Or the player that is perpetually late to the game, making everyone else wait and then having short sessions. That's a good one. Or they're late and you wait and the session's short. And you just say, okay, let's start, right? Does that shift the start time? Or does the game master and the players have to bring that player up to speed because they're an hour late and we started an hour ago? So now we got to set aside 10 minutes to like, okay, this is what's happened in the last hour. This is where we are. Okay, sounds good. Where am I? Right? It's a good point, Tim. Sometimes it's even worse. I don't know. Maybe. Because if they're just gone, they're gone. Like, whoosh. Brett says, I've got 5 players right now. One guy is in and out due to his job. So the rest of the group and I just keep rolling. If he's there, then then his PC is engaged. If not, then the PC is out. Do you know ahead of time, Brett? Does he give you so I have my questions, because I think there's going to be context around Brett's comment there. Do you know ahead of time? How well ahead of time do you know? And he probably answers it. He's missed campaign starts, big events in game, and campaign enders. Ouch, that sucks. No idea if that sort of setup would work for anyone else. Laramie says, as mentioned, our group can't have a regular schedule. Healthcare workers, service workers. That's tough. Stefan says, for a while, I was such a player, Brett. I played a support PC, so my absence was not a big deal. Well, and it also goes into the type of game. Doesn't matter. Like, not even the format of the game, but the actual game. Like D&D or class-based systems, there's something to be said about, like, party balance, right? Maybe I'll throw and counterbalance out the window, but maybe party balance. Like, the cleric's not here? Great. Like, no healing. That's going to work really well for us. Ryan says, group of 5. If a player is absent, usually their character is passed to another player or the GM. Ah, yes. Well, have Ryan play my guy. Okay. Then is that allowed? How do you play him? Who checks the door? Well, Sean's character does. Oh, he's not here? Yeah, well, we'll just have him check the door. With Mothership, I have backup crew that can fill support roles as needed. Matt, I've been fortunate that even if people miss a lot, they have communicated as to the in-game why for that character we'll be doing during those moments. Well, I really messed up that whole punctuation thing. I've been fortunate that even if people miss a lot, they have communicated as to the in-game why for what their character will be doing during those moments. Or I use the character like an NPC. Well, yeah, do you turn it over to the players or do you turn it over to the GM? Michael. Do one of those or one of these. There you go. Living for James, this guy. What's up, buddy? How are you? This is why I really like having a campaign Discord server, just to help keep everyone connected if they miss. Indeed. Wow, got a huge crowd today. Everybody, let's break the record. I think my record for a single video within the first 5 minutes of ending the stream is like 30 likes. William Thorpe, morning. Gabe, I've handled it when I've had to. As Brett describes, I also find it quite easy to narrate the PC off doing other stuff. What is annoying is when the other players insist on engaging that absent PC. Tip number 1, never tell them what annoys you. Thanks, Gabe. That's hilarious. All right, let's go to the guy in the ship. Hey, Brett. Brett's character. You're monitoring stuff. What's on there? Oh, God. Here we go. Laramie says, I recommend taking Knights of the Dinner Table's lead and having missing players responsible for having a replacement player so the character is still there. Stick them in a closet. The Gamer's the movie, right? It's the, who is it? Was it the barbarian that was always missing or whatever? So they just have him in the background. And then he would show up in the middle of a combat, and then his guy would just miraculously start raging. Dorcas, most absences are tolerated as a majority of us have kids, full-time jobs, life responsibilities. Give me a break. Those are not I'm tired of those excuses. Tired of it. Quit your job. Kick out your kids. Come on. Life responsibilities, let them slide. Seriously. Come on, Dorcas. You sound like you're like some 50-year-old middle-aged guy. Come on. This guy. But the big point of contention, he continues, is consistent absences with radio silence, no notice, no follow-up. We call that ghosting. Ghosting. Brett B. Many ages ago, back in high school, we had plenty of campaigns die when players would just bail as those players didn't have the dedication to the hobby the rest of us did. Yeah. Victor. Pay to play reminds me of college students and how serious they were. I was paying for my schooling and kept getting annoyed by those who had parents paying for them. Total attitude difference. CJ. Whoa. Look at this full room. I don't know if we're like maximum capacity. Make some room, folks. Interesting. I wonder how the player experience changes in paid games too. Yeah. I bet you it's quite a bit. I don't think it's probably not drastically different. It's probably just like the problem is with paid games is you might get in a game with randos, not always, but if you don't sign up with a group, right? Hey, we're all wanting to play. None of us want to jam. Let's go together. Right? That's a different experience because you know everybody. But I'm going to guess that most of them are kind of randos. And I bet you not everybody. Because on that pay-to-play video that Ginny did, they say that once you get they say if you have a game master that runs a game and those people, they're people that sign up and they really click with you as the game master, they tend to follow you around, even if you change games. They would much rather play with Sean running Delta Green and trying that game because they already know Sean's a tried and true source from their D&D 5e game. But so the thing is like, oh, I'm going to pay to play, but I don't know all these randos and I feel like an outsider. And then you join and you're like, yeah, I don't think this is going to work. Right. Not a big deal. I'm sure they handle it, but it's another dynamic. But I bet you as far as like how the game is run and handled and all that, I bet it's tighter. And a lot of those folks don't miss. Brett says I do. Probably picking up somewhere else. Player tells us when he does know ahead of time. Player tells us when he's in or out, and I know at least a week in advance. Well, that's cool. Some of us don't get that, right? Scotchy, 6 regulars. We can only play every second or third week, but we usually work out what we're playing in advance. If not everyone can make it for the main campaign, we also have a side game or do a one shot. And we do the same thing on our every other Thursday, typically. Orcus says, and not to be the old man yelling at clouds, well, when in Rome, but it is usually our younger players. Oh, I just forgot. Yeah, I'll just forget. I call that parenting. I just blame the parents in that case. Stefan, if a major role is missing, then the GM can have an NPC join to help in the background. You're just all full of answers, aren't you, Stefan? Scotchy, if it's last minute, we might just have to push on without them. Our main game is Pendragon. One session is a game year, and that night is out for whatever reason. A whole nother ball game, right? Tim says we had a couple of players who were consistently an hour late, so we moved the start time for them, and then immediately they were another hour plus late every time. Eventually, we stopped inviting them. Yeah. They can't. It's not that they can't make the 7 or 8 o'clock time. They're just habitually late. That would drive me nuts. Grimwood Games. Missing players have killed more campaigns than I can count. There we go. 40 watching. We could do it. Yeah, baby. 40. Thanks, guys. Too bad I can't like more than once. Well, you can. Just can't display it. Runeslinger. Look at this. Another one pops in the chat. I think this is the most engaged chat I've had on this stream. The most amount of people talking at the same time. Talking, chatting, whatever. I regret that I have but one like to give. And I will take that, sir. I will take that like. Jim says, I've occasionally run open table games because I know going in that attendance would be irregular and structured things with that in mind. Harrigan says, I don't have a ton of experience with this. My groups have been pretty consistent over the years. Recently, if one person has to miss, we usually play a one-shot the week they are gone. Yeah. Now, in play-by-post games, he continues, 80% of games die because players or even GMs just ghost. Yeah, that's a whole nother thing, right? Like the spike in PvP, play-by-post, is like you have like paid games, normal games, play-by-post, like off the charts. Players that are always late are the worst. Luckily, mine communicate well through our Discord. Mike, find it hard to believe that a paid game would be any better than games where a friend is GM and the rest of us are players. I'm just not sure what a paid GM would do that would be better. I guess it depends on who's running for your group. I think you might be giving a lot of GMs a lot of credit. Too much credit. Mike, you might be in the Golden Hall of Fame of game groups. There are many that are not. Runeslinger. We often have different games on different nights with some players in all, and some players in some or one of the campaigns. This is partly to play more games and partly to deal with any absences. Crits. 4Crits says, I watched Ginny D's video on the subject. Definitely intriguing that this is a way to make money, but I still don't think I could monetize the hobby that helps make my work life bearable. Yeah, it's a dynamic. Laramie says, my online game, we always have a straggler, but we just expect that. We shoot the breeze for 5 minutes, then I text the missing person. It rotates, and no matter what, we're throwing dice by 15 after. Booyah. Well, at least you have a cutoff. That's what you're saying. Discord's such a fabulous tool for game coordination generally. I know people love G+, but for real-time comms, so good. It's also a common support platform for play-by-post now as well. It's just not the same, dude. It's just not. It's not. In our old man group, not to be confused with Blue Man Group or Blue Old Man Group, we usually gloss over the player's absence. Some of the different GMs run them as an NPC, or we just run a different game, i.e. a one-shot, says Shambot. Oh, Trumpet says, when you pay to play, they can treat the DM like a servant. They can, but then I could do that with my buddy Joe, too. Dance for me, Game Master. So here's the deal. I'm going to comment on Trumpet's comment here. Go figure. If somebody is a dick in the hobby, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if they're paid or not. They're a dick. Right? It's like in their genes. It's in their genetic makeup that they pat on their face. What? What is this guy talking about? I don't even understand. Genetic genes makeup on his face. What? General expectations for most paid games isn't necessarily quality. It's a promise of consistency for payment. Maybe. Well, hold on a second. Because now it's one of the Dorcas. I think he sometimes says things just to get me riled up. I think that's his MO. I get you, Dorcas. I want to just ask this quick, since pay to pay is kind of, since we got into this, which is a whole nother topic in and of itself, which maybe we'll do next week. But since we're talking about it, you're a game master. Would you change how you run a paid game versus how you run a game with your group? And I'm not saying like, well, I probably wouldn't swear as much, or, I'd probably, not make fart jokes with a paid game, right? But would you do anything different? And I sincerely am interested in knowing that. If you decided to run a game and they were going to pay you, well, here, that depends, Sean, on how much they're going to pay me. If they're only going to pay me $10 an hour or $10 per player for like a 4-hour session, well, screw that crap. But I mean, if they're going to pay me like $400 an hour or per player, or like $1,600, well, that might be completely different. I'm full of something. Glitter and rainbows and unicorn farts. That's what it's supposed to be, Stefan. Now we're going to pivot into this. Well, we don't have much time to talk about this stuff, but my friend hired a GM on Start Playing to run the old Stalker RPG for a group of us for 4 sessions, and it was great. He learned that weird system for us, and we got to try it. Worked great. Tad Leckman, paid player. Krolog. We have the phrase invisible and invincible for PCs missing during sessions where it can't be explained that they're gone. Like we started in the middle of a dungeon crawl. So like TPK happens, what happened is the person that missed. We haven't talked about that. Brett, lack of heads up comms when a PC will be out is grounds for getting booted from the group in his area. Everyone else is dedicated to the hobby and puts the time in. We don't have time to waste on that crap. I'm with you. Hey, Brett, I'm picking up what you're putting down, buddy. You know why this is the most engaged chat? Look at how many times I've commented. Well, there you go, Laramie. It's a data point. This is a topic that causes a lot of annoyances for all of us. Well, that's good. Then I picked a topic that could be talked about. Score! Oh, didn't mean to flick that ear. See you. I don't mind people who miss a game or two. What grinds my gears is when people cancel on game time. Oh, snap. I had to do that yet for tomorrow. I canceled yesterday for a game. Actually, that's not true. I canceled the game that is supposed to be today, and I did it yesterday. There's a little more to the story, but the Delta Green game that I run is usually on Sundays, every other Sunday. And one of the guys, the host, is like, hey, I can't do Sunday. Can we move it to Saturday? And there was many people that were like, yeah, but it had to go virtual instead of in person. And then one of the guys is like, I'm not a fan of virtual. And I'm like, and Saturday, well, I stream, not a big deal. I could still run, but there's something else I got to take care of. I got to buy a new car, man, and I'm not looking forward to it. So I got to kind of get out there and start doing this, or Sean's going to be walking everywhere. His wife will be walking to work. But I was like thinking about it the whole week, and I'm like, I can make this happen. I can make this happen. And they were like, hey, so when Saturday? When? I know you got to do it later because you're going to go car shopping, but when? And I'm like, when? When am I going to get a car? When am I going to go? And I'm just like, I'm just going to call it. Right. Well, actually, I said, can we move it to Sunday since we're going to do it virtual? And then one of the guys was like, hey, I thought we were doing it Saturday, so I already scheduled something Sunday, which I would totally do myself. Like if we don't lock things down, I got to move on with life. And so I told my buddy, I'm like, nope, I would have done the same. Like we were committed to Saturday and I botched it. So let's just call it. So now we're just shit canning the session. Test Trek, good to see you. Morning. Chambot says, I recently had to decline a game with a group of old friends and a great GM because I knew that I would not be able to make it all the time and didn't want it to be a drag on the game and bog it down. Self-awareness. You're awesome. Short games are our solution. We tend towards 3 to 6 session campaigns. To Arrogance point, mature decision. Yeah. Laramie, I should invite Mike M to one of my group games. He'd really appreciate his group after watching our twice-a-month multi-car wreck. Prologue. I imagine with the paid game that if the player's expectations are much higher. If I drop 20 or 50 for a game, I'd want it to be awesome. There is a level of expectation, right? There is. That's why I just run it the same I do with my own home group. That's great if you're awesome. Maybe you slack. Shambot, respect. Look at that, Shambot. Getting some props. Wayne, it's not so much advice, but an observation. Long-running groups take work, just like any relationship. We have constant session zeros. That's from 36 years experience. You have to communicate. Right. Yes. Is there an SLA from the GM? I'm going to guess that there probably is. Paid versus GM is employee or pay to play at a local club. Laramie, regarding some player being a dick at the table, I make it a point to make sure I have cash. Game hole. If someone is being a dick at my table, I'm prepared to refund them and ask them politely to GFTO. Interesting. Scotchy. I remember listening to an interview, may have been by Sean, with some paid GMs, and the games were either big money or like every player kicks in a few bucks and the GM is running like 10 games a week. I did do one. I interviewed 2 individuals on GM Mastermind that were running paid games. Don, I think, I can't remember Don's name. And it's still out there. You can pull it down. So thanks for listening, Scotchy. Yeah, I would, and he does it for a living. Can't remember her name. Oh, I apologize. CJ, I definitely run con games differently than my home games. I can't help but assume I would do that with a paid game. Grimwood, I did play to pay game once. I did prepare a little bit more, but not really change much. But not really change much as far as a game play wise. Jim, paid GM SLA, 8 hours of gaming per month, no more than 15 minutes of downtime, no more than 1 TPK per calendar year. 400 an hour. I want to find the most expensive game master on Start Playing and put me out there above him. I say him, her, whoever, above them. Let's see. Oh, you charge 50? I'm charging 75. If you run a game at a con like Gamehole Con, folks paid the con to play that game. So you're like an unpaid intern GM. Oh boy. That'll strike up conversation. Paid game. I would take more seriously, probably invest some more time to into prep rather than, the street contact you meet is named Joey Jojo Jr. Shabadoo. Money to anybody that uses that name in their next game. Joey Jojo Jr. Shabadoo. Who's this guy? Hey, I'm Joey Jojo Jr. Shabadoo. I know somebody's going to be like, done. If someone paid me to run a game for them, I would need to start with what they are expecting from the game. Right? Of course. This would determine if I take the job or not, as I know what I can deliver and cannot. There was a tale that they had on Ginny D where they paid a game master, a group, right? Hey, let's all get together. They all got their money together and they're going to pay this GM. And it was old school. It was an old school DM. They wanted the old school feel. So it wasn't like, it's a different style game. They knew it would be a different style game than they're used to. And they said it was like not good at all. So it wasn't, Ginny didn't just like, it's all roses and unicorn farts. Like Stefan. Orcus, of course I would run differently. Just like how I handle IT support for my clients as opposed to for my wife or friends. I am less sarcastic with clients. Yeah, see? Ryan says, I agree with CJ. Con and paid games are not at home games. Friends versus people I might not know. Right. Eileen says, I run all games equally. I like to see my players have fun regardless of if I'm being compensated for my time or not. Well, that's good. All right, see you, Zweefer. Damn, now I want to try and play in a paid game to compare. Let's take it one shot. Have a good weekend. Steph says, I don't think I run differently for cons versus slash the public. Terrible is as terrible does. You get all the same from shit GM. CJ could pay Laramie. Well, there you go. Service level agreement. There we go. It's expectations. That's what an SLA is. I remember that, GM Mastermind. There you go. John, good to see you. Thanks for joining. People give notice? What a concept. During a 3-year Cyberpunk game that were a lot of call-outs, usually a few hours before or at start session. And our GM would cancel the game for one missing, usually. Ooh, that is a tough. Tough. Ouch. Assuming you're getting more than $100 to run the game, say 4 to 5 hours, would you expect from yourself you need to bring props, minis, terrain, etc.? Well, a lot of it's got to be virtual, right? It's like a hidden topic within a topic. It is. Yeah. Let's do this next week. Let's do pay to play next week. Yes, indeed. $400. And what kind of role playing are you offering? Tim, the best. The best. That's what I'm offering. Matt Mercer. Excuse me. I guess if I'm getting paid, I'll supply the graph paper for the players to do their mapping on. Top notch. Pencils are extra. Well, I'm still going. Hold up now. I got to get to what's going on in the hobby. Games I run at a local RPG club are not tamer. More, I watch the jokes I make because people are different. Well, yeah. Turn on a different persona, right? Turn on the mom persona. Like you would be running for your mother. I'm running for your mother. Say hi to your mother for me. I believe most would run differently. We all have the dream of making great living, getting paid for our hobbies. Dude, when I retire, it's on like Donkey Kong. Run one game like a week. Help supplement my little Social Security and my Medicare. Believe it. Believe it. And by then, games will be like $100 an hour. So yeah, I got that going for me. Cost of living will be much more. But hey, shut up. I got this figured out. Let me know where to send the check for the Shabadoo game, right? See ya, Tad. Runeslinger, if paid, I would have to view the group as clients, not friends. Antithetical to me, really. And so would just run the game as intended by the text and expected by the group. See you, Brett. All right, I'm going to pivot here. Sean and Aaron are going to do live GHC combined Saturday morning go bag. Maybe. We'll see. I think Harrigan and I got games. It's not out of the question. All right, let's get into some other stuff. Thank you so much, everybody. Let's get into, before everybody bails. This is the part of the show where I talk about, we're going to go to like EN World and Geek Native and potentially Rascal and just bring up some news and what's in print and what's going on. Okay. So many people will bail at this point. That's fine. Whatever. Let's get into news. All right. Is, first one. Sign up the Analog Union newsletter. Analog Union. Bet you haven't heard of this one. Whoop. That's not it. What is going on here? Oh, my thing isn't refreshing. That's fantastic. What is going on with this? You guys seen all my stats on my YouTube channel? Well, so much for going smooth. That is not right, man. Not right. Oh, that's why. I had it. Man, stupid thing. Let's try this again, shall we? Analog Union newsletter. This is by Jason Elliott and has contributors from small indie publishers. I think Salt Heart, who is not here today, is part of this. If you're interested, so Analog Union is a collection of independent tabletop game creators. Every week we send out a newsletter to let you in on what we're doing. It's free and it's fun. It's an email list. Salt Heart will probably get access to those emails, and so they contribute stuff. I think also John Hambo McGuire from Vintage RPG. He does 321 Action. I think his stuff is in here. Jason's part of Solarian Games. Whatever they're doing is probably in there. So if you're interested, check them out. Bet you didn't even know they existed. Next one. Gamma. Gamma appoints the trade organization's first COO amid a large restructure. So Gamma changed their name, which I'll go into briefly, but this is the new COO. Melinda Pickett, her first chief operating officer. So some different challenges facing Gamma, which is no longer the Game Manufacturers Association. They have been rebranded as Gamma, the Tabletop Game Association. Did I say that? They were known as the Game Manufacturers Association. Now they're the Tabletop Game Association. I don't know where the M is. But anyways, so there you go. Check it out. And I say Gamma because if you're an independent publisher, it's not too terrible to actually be a member of Gamma, right? If you need a trade or a lobbyist group for the tabletop industry, hey, there you go. Spooky Sessions. Roll20 put out a list of games that would be ideal for Halloween. I did a video last year for that as well. Some of the ones that they suggest. And of course, hey, play it on Roll20. Call of Cthulhu, Alien the RPG, probably know it, some no-brainers. Mothership, Old Gods of Appalachia, Vampire the Masquerade, Vaesen, Nordic horror role-playing, Chronicles of Darkness, and then some honorable mentions include Fallout, Tales of the Spectre from Chaosium, Walking Dead from Free League, Maximum Apocalypse RPG from Rock Manor Games, and Inspectors from Memento Mori. So if you're anybody do Halloween specific game? And then the last part of news, Free League reveals new Coriolis, the Great Dark campaign set, The Flowers of Algarab, which I don't think I got in the Kickstarter. I think it was part of it, but I did not get into it, right? Was it part of the Kickstarter? I think it was. I didn't get it, but it's coming because I'll just wait till it's released. There you go. February 3rd, 2026. If you are a Coriolis Dark, Great Dark campaign set. That's all I have for news. There's probably other news out there. That's all I have. Bundles? Let's do bundles, yo. 3 bundles. All at the bundle holding. So the first one is the roofs are far. We don't give a damn, let the roofs be far. Far roofs. Psst, what can I say? What can I say? You're welcome. It's entertainment all day, every day. I have never heard of this game, but nonetheless, if you're interested, it's by Jenna Moran about talking rats, god monsters, and you in your own hometown in a strange landscape that stretches across the rooftops. Intelligent and heroic rats confront the mysteries, very personal horrors that seek to crush you personally. There you go. And then, of course, since we're here, there is Achtung Cthulhu. If you're not familiar with that, it's the 2D20 game from Modiphius. Some people have spoken about it or have played it. And then I think, what's the last one? World of Darkness one, maybe? Oh, this was not Humble Bundle. This is Humble Bundle. The other one was Bundle Holding. Sorry. World of Darkness, Month of Darkness. So here, let me get you the links. There will get you some bundles. And then this one, Humble RPG, World of Darkness, Month of Darkness, 2025 digital. All kinds of stuff in there. Boom, 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 bam. That's all I have for Humble Bundles. Let's get into print. All right, cyberpunkers. I don't know if you knew this. Ghost in the Shell TTRPG Quick Start is out. And it looks like it's in Italian, French, and English, and British. Ghost in the Shell TTRPG Quick Start drops you into Newport City in 2027. Where cybernetic operatives face espionage, corruption, and the blurred lines between Ghost and Shell. Built on a customized Forged in the Dark system. This game lets you create elite public security section agents, enhance them with cyberware, and dive into high-stakes missions against terrorists, rogue AIs, and cyber-enhanced enemies. Who's fans of Ghost in the Shell, yo? Show yourself. You like that, Orcus? Too funny. Right. All right, let's get in the EN world. Stuff that has probably come from crowdfunding campaigns that is now available for the general public to consume and buy. Overhill and Underhill starter sets, the One Ring core rules, Tales from the Lone Lands by Free League for the One Ring, 2E. There you go. It's out there. Box set and hardcovers. Booyah, bam, boom, bang. Next one, Welcome to Troika bundle by Melsonia Arts Council. Troika in let's see, $137, retail $185. Must be running a special on that. Core rulebook and 5 adventures, settings, books provides PCs and GMs all the rules required to play, plus a veritable education in running adventures and exploring the strange crystal spheres of science fantasy. Next one, Liminal Horror Investigators. The Parthenogenesis of Hungry Hollow and Ex Inferus for Liminal Horror. There you go. Next one, Vault of Varn Varn and Vaults of Varn, number 1 and number 2. By Antipode. Antipode? Zines or Zines. It's about to say Varn. Right. Varn. It's like 2 A's, not Varn. Varn. That's it. That's all that's out for print this week. All the other print stuff's gone. This is all what you have to select from and print this week, just so you know. You're welcome. Crowdfunding. What's up, crowdfunding? First one I want to put out there. He's not in the chat, but he's local. Well, he's not crazy, but he is local, geographically. Some of you have played with him. You've seen him, met him at a Gamehole Con. Michael Spredeman. He's going to put Hirelings to Heroes out on crowdfunding Kickstarter. There's a few followers to that. If you're interested, check it out. Giving him a little shout out. No gods, no magic, no hope. 0-level adventure where you can truly go from 0 to hero. You were just supposed to carry the bags. You're a turnip farmer, a torchbearer, a human pack mule, maybe the one who tests the funny-smelling food. Seasoned adventurers arrive in your village with battle-worn armor, sharp weapons, and a spark in their eyes that hints that their fanciful tales may not be all fantasy. Gather up that rusty dagger, 3 copper pieces, and your favorite chicken. Hold tightly to the desperate hope that your destiny was not to die in the next famine on the edge of this stinking bog. What could go wrong? So there you go. Next, let's go to the in-world, see what they got going on. Fabula Ultima, I heard, has made a couple dollars on their crowdfunding campaign. Fabula Ultima TTJ RPG Celebration Edition plus volume, Bestiary Volume 1 from Need Games. See how they did that? Their title of the game and then the publishing house, Need Games. It's subliminal. Subliminal? Subliminal. It's a message. Hypnotize you to buy their stuff. Genius. 1,070,000 euros. Hey, for all you Americans, that's more than the normal dollar, just so you know. Right? Exchange rate. Void Sea. Or Void Sha, if you're Irish. From Loot Tavern. D&D 5th edition, $808,000. The average pledge is $100 for the PDF and digital versions of 4 books, VTT bundle, maps, sheets, and more. Congratulations to those folks. Next one, Dark Descent, Infernalism and Blood Magic, a Forbidden 5e tome from Mammoth Factory. So 5th edition's alive and well, folks, and crowdfunding everywhere. $166K. Booyah. That most popular pledge is $259. Hey, can I get some disposable income, please? Plus shipping and handling for the PDF print versions of both hardcovers, GM screen, cards, dice, miniatures, maps, notes, VTT, and more. Next one, Vast Grim, Escaping Stasis. Creature Curation. Most popular pledge, man. Phew, we're not kicking in $40 anymore, folks. That's yesterday's news. It's now getting above hundreds of dollars. This one's $169 is the most popular pledge. Don't be unpopular. Cool kids are putting in $169. Chump. Is that $40K? Not the game. $40,000 funded. Come on. Nerds. Next one. DCC RPG, Horror Cinema Classics RPG from Wayward Studios. It's a backer kit. Core rulebook, $60. Imagine 1980s VHS horror-inspired game that uses DCC engine and dissect to tell its tales of terror. And dice set, not dissect. Dice set. Ugh, God. Next one, Cyberpunk Legends. Night Crew Games. Co-op card game. What? $875,000 for a card game. Wow. $130 is the most popular pledge. Wowie wow wow. It's not a role-playing game, but it's based on one. They're good for them, I guess. Next one. What's old is new. Bestiary for fantasy, modern, and sci-fi from EM Publishing. Kickstarter. It's funded at 10,000 quid. Boom, bam, bang. And in true fashion, Ian World puts theirs last. Saves the best for last in their eyes, I imagine. There you go. That's all I got. That's all I got for print news. Crowdfunding. News. Snooze news. I want to thank all these fine individuals for pledging their hard-earned dollars to buy me a brand new Ferrari. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. You have helped me get to 0.01% of my goal. Thank you very much. Just kidding. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. I really, really do. Thank you for being here this week. I'm Sean. I stream every Saturday at 8 a.m. Central Time, U.S., right here. Next week, we're going to talk about pay to play. We're going to do it. We're going to knock this out. If you're a hater, whatever, fine. If you're not, you want to know more, we're going to talk about it. The main conversation piece. Next week's, oh, shoot, I can't do next week. Everybody's like, dude, you got Game Old Con, man. Did you forget about that? Probably next week, no stream. We'll see. Maybe I'll get on at 8. I think I might have maybe I have a game at 9, but I'll try to get on at 8 maybe and just say hi. I don't know. Maybe I'll give you guys a tour. Would you guys be up for that? I don't know. Maybe. Some of you will be there. Maybe I'll bring some of the people in the chat onto the stream and go, this is who they are when they're talking. Like Harrigan and stuff, like, and Eileen and everybody else that's there. Like, hey, this is who they are. Call them out. Dox them, right? Check out this video if you'd like and if it matches your interests. Check this out. Otherwise, be a positive force, tabletop RPG hobby. I'll check you on the next one. Not next week. Maybe next week. Maybe not. I don't know. But the following, right? For sure. 2 weeks. Not the 18th, but the 25th. Okay? Peace. Go game. Have fun. Ciao.